has nothing to worry about.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
It's time for Ben's Horror Bullshit.
Words about books, Ben.
It's words about books. Nate?
Yeah, it's Ben's horror bullshit month, which is also known as Nate takes a nap month.
Yeah,
This has worked out really well. I mean, I'm gonna hate this come November because most of the shit I'm doing right now is in prep for that. But
I was gonna say I was actually really unhappy with how well received Nate's Nightmare November was. So this year, you're in for it, buddy. Okay.
It's just Bigfoot porn. Is that?
It's
You threatened that before.
It's not a 0% chance.
Okay.
Though I will say Schismatrix somewhat took the wind out of those sails. We've seen weirder. No.
It doesn't even have meat.
It doesn't even have meat. But so we're going to go on an adventure together right now.
Yes, that's what I hear.
So
prior to this to us going live, you're like, this is a really long story.
So every year not every year, for the last 2 years, this will be the third year, I think, we've read a creepypasta. And I've already gone into what creepypastas are, and I wanted to expand. Last year we did Ben Drowned.
Ben Drowned. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into like all the various like good creepypastas and everything, and I was thinking about like, oh, should we do like the Russian sleep experiment? Should I introduce you to the Slender Mansion?
The Slender Mansion?
Yeah, Slender Man
like the Playboy
has a mansion,
but
he has a mansion deep within one of the national parks. I forget which one.
Yellowstone.
And could be. I don't think it was. But
it's the perfect.
He's got a mansion in there, and if you go there, you can join his Slender Brigade or whatever.
But Slender Brigade, is that?
I don't know what
a
they're
real
called.
Thing.
No, but there's that's what those girls who stabbed that other girl thought they were going to do.
Did they go to that mansion?
No, they didn't even get close.
Oh, I think you have to go to the mansion before you do the stabbing, right?
I think they're out of jail now.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, because she lived.
Good for them. And also for her.
But so I was looking for that, and as I was looking at all these different creepypastas, I stumbled across one I had never seen before. And
really?
Though it dips back into the same well we've already drawn from, I felt I needed to explore where this might go. Jeff the Killer 2, Scars of Corruption.
Yes, a subtitle. Okay. I noticed on the schedule it was typed in all lowercase, and I feel like that is appropriate.
This has an author.
Oh my god. Should I try to remember what happened in Jeff the Killer 1? Is that important?
I don't know, because I've never read it. We're going to do it live on air.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You and I are going to...
This could be really, really, really bad.
I'm banking heavy on my presentation skills and the fine work of Kay Banning Kellum.
Is that the person who did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's written a bunch of... oh boy, I see... He's actually written several sequels to Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer 3, Jeff the Killer 4, 5, 6, 7.
Anthology? Oh my... What? How many pages is... God, how many pages are all of these? How many pages is just the second one alone?
It's a good question. Oh, it's a lot of pages.
Oh boy.
We're gonna see what happens here. I don't know if we're gonna get through all of this. There's quite a lot here.
I don't remember much about Jeff the Killer to begin with, other than he was kind of an asshole and a bad apple from the start, and then he got lit on fire. It both charred his hair and bleached his skin. Yeah,
so he was a young man, a troubled young man, who
he was kind of a dick. I recall.
He felt urges, and he felt the urge to kill, but he didn't know it was the urge to kill. It was just a strange urge, and mostly at the beginning, he used his powers for good, beating up neighborhood bullies and such.
I do remember that. I remember him beating his brother, but I think he used excessive force, though.
He used no, because they pulled a knife on him, I think.
Okay.
I think Jeff used appropriate force prior to earning the epithet the Killer. So his brother Lou took the fall for beating the shit out of those kids. He went to juvie, and Jeff had to attend some neighborhood garden party. He wore white jeans and a white hoodie. And he those neighborhood bullies came back in, and there was a gun involved, maybe.
I do recall lethal force being introduced. I don't remember who introduced it.
I don't know.
So basically, we're saying go re-listen to Jeff the Killer from 2 years ago.
That's probably
those
the best
numbers
way to do
up. Yeah. And then come back and then tell us what happened.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read a bunch of this, and if it doesn't look like we're anywhere near finishing, and people want me to continue, good news, we have a Patreon. And for the low price of $2, I'll read the rest of this to you.
Is it $2, Ben? You sure that doesn't go
for this one it's going to be $2.
For this one it's only $2. Okay.
I'm not going to. You're not going to
charge that extra dollar. That's
no. Okay. So from the prologue to Jeffrey Woods, brother, friend, killer, by Lou Woods. Jeff has a last name here. Maybe he had a last name before. Before we begin this journey, I want it to be known that when I remember my brother Jeff, I remember a friend. I remember a big brother who taught me how to climb a tree, throw a baseball, play video games, and about a million other things. He never beat me up, never took my share of the spending money. Oh wow, that's a really long sentence. Never took my share of the spending money our parents would send us off to the mall with, or made me feel like the tag along. I thought this would be, if you're going to put your name on it, I thought he would spell check.
No. Okay. How do we know that's his real name?
Okay, so the point is he didn't take Lou's money. You know, that's
I can relate to that.
And naturally, he was my best friend. Someone that, should I live to be 100 years old, can never be replaced.
Okay.
Lane Dermott turned the key in the door of his mother's modest home in Mandeville, LA.
Was that the previous part
the previous part was in italics. It's a Princess Arulin kind of thing.
Okay.
So we're in Mandeville, Louisiana. Walking into the foyer of his home, he threw his backpack to the floor, creating a loud thud as the heavy books contained within strike the hardwood floor. We're mixing tenses again. Lane, what have I told you about throwing your books down like that? We just had the floors done, his mother, Nancy Dermott, scolds, unseen but most certainly heard from the nearby kitchen. I'm pissed, Mom. Lane replies, voice.
Oh my
laced-
God! I'm sorry. Jesus.
Yeah, his voice is
Christ.
laced with the sort of angst that only a teenager who feels slighted by society can produce.
Okay.
His mother.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah,
I already
yeah.
like this guy. I want him to succeed.
His mother lets out a patient sigh. What happened now, Lane? Are those kids still giving you a hard time at lunch? No! I told you already, I don't care about them. Lane's book of
Nobody
poetry.
understands me. God.
You will just wait. Lane's
Oh,
book
Jesus.
of poetry, which also doubles as his journal. So you know he's one of the cool kids. had recently been fished out of his backpack by some mean-spirited peer or another and shared with the rest of the school. He'd had some problems with bullying since then, but Nancy had sincerely believed it was starting to slow down. Kids can only stay focused on one thing for so long, in her opinion, and the expiration date on her son's latest abuse should, in her mind anyway, be nearing.
They'll get bored of punching you eventually, you know?
Yeah, you're a soft, boring target. She'd been raising Lane alone for some time now. Paul Dermott, her former husband and Lane's missing in action father, had been out of the picture for the last 4 years or so. Since then, she'd been doing her best to raise and support him, but Lane was not always an easy son to support. His obsession with what his mother thought of as dark things drove a divide between them. He was at an age where he felt she couldn't possibly understand him or his interests, and had quickly
Reminds me
established
of
that
the-
she was an
you
outsider
have the
looking-
hair combed over just one eye, and you're like, no one understands me. And you flip it, so the hair goes around the other eye.
You don't understand my poems, Mom. They're in iambic pentameter.
That would actually be more impressive.
I don't
feel
know
like.
what that is. Unsighted keeps talking about it, and I to
It's
this day
Shakespeare's
don't.
thing.
It's five. It's 5 iams, right? What's an iam though?
I'd have to look it up. It's Shakespeare's thing. That's all I remember or care about. I don't care about Shakespeare, Ben.
Neither do I. That's why I'm reading this.
Yeah.
His
We're
room.
reading real literature over here.
His room adorned with strange books on the occult, disturbing art, and posters for strange foreign
Be
horror
careful
films.
of that shit. A demon will come through and possess your body.
It caused her to absolutely avoid going in there, unless necessary. She'd tried a time or
That
two
would
to
be,
explain to him that perhaps his interest in these disturbing pieces of culture are what caused him to become a target at his school. This, of course, only served to drive a deeper wedge between
You're the
them.
problem, okay? If you weren't such a fucking loser, they wouldn't beat you up so much.
Have you ever considered maybe like playing a sport or joining a club?
Get a guitar, I guess, you know? Like,
That is how you channel this. That's how you parlay this into something a girl might not be repulsed by.
there
anyway,
you go.
That obviously drove a deeper wedge between them, and he would insist she didn't know or understand him. Now, on this otherwise lovely day in Mandeville, it would seem that Lane Dermott had found something new to be furious about. Oh dear. Nancy reached into her purse and fetched her favorite coping mechanism, her bottle of Xanax.
Favorite coping mechanism.
We
Is
all
that
have
what
one.
do people have those?
Do you not? This is why you're so stressed all the time.
Yeah, that must be the case.
I think
I don't have
podcasting's your favorite coping mechanism.
There you go. This
Yeah.
this podcast just really knocks that stress out.
This sounds like a 2-pill problem, she thought to herself as she washed the medicine down her throat with a glass of tap water, forcing a smile.
Under your tongue. What are you doing?
Resigning herself to play therapist. Or mother. Jesus Christ, you suck.
Why not both, Ben? Why don't you get him some of that Xanax? And
here.
he could sell it at school. He'd be a lot more popular.
That would make you more popular. And give them a whole new reason to beat you up and take it. Come in here and tell me what happened, she called to him. This happened, her son replied, stomping into the kitchen and throwing 2 articles of literature on the breakfast table.
I love the way it
Mr.
2
Mr.
articles
Kimball.
of literature.
Mr. Kimball rejected my book report. He said that the subject matter was inappropriate. Nancy looked down at the table and saw the book report neatly typed and placed into a document binder, and then observed that the book report had been based upon. I think he meant what the book report had been based upon. She quickly realized that she should have allowed the Xanax a bit more time to start working. That's why you put it under your tongue.
You put it under the tongue. God.
Yeah. Now he gets a little poetic here. A bit more time to start working its euphoric magic before engaging her son. Lane, that book is banned in schools. You know that.
Mein Kampf?
I think it's going to be the Jeff the Killer book.
Damn it.
The school sent out letters informing everyone. Why would you do your report on that? It's freedom of expression, Mom. I've told you about the guy at my college who was told it was quiet hours and he needed to quiet down. He's like, "Yo, fuck you. I'll go outside. It's freedom of speech outside. It's not quiet hours outside." And the RA was like, "It actually is quiet hours outside." It's freedom of expression, Mom. Why can't anyone understand that? That's why you get yourself a book podcast, kid. You can read whatever fucking book you want.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to kick that report back, son. Why would you provoke the teacher? Lane had 2 other book reports rejected by his English teacher over the last few months. The first had been based on the long-time banned The Anarchist Cookbook, while the other had been on a recently exiled piece of literature.
What high school teacher is this? High school? This is high school, right?
I think this is high school, yes.
What high school teacher? I was never given just like a read whatever book you want and then do a report on it. It was always like an assigned reading, or I had a choice of like, here's 3 books, pick one.
And one of them wasn't The Anarchist Cookbook?
No, actually.
You don't want to know how to make napalm out of styrofoam gasoline?
I already know how to do that by cultural osmosis, actually.
Fair enough. Yeah, you want to talk to your kids about that. You don't want them learning it on the street. Anyway, while the other had been on a recently exiled piece of literature called Voodoo and Hoodoo, removed from schools because it allegedly gave step-by-step instructions on how to prepare and cast hexes. Now that the school had blacklisted yet another book, Nancy couldn't even feign shock that Lane had immediately picked it up. That's why you don't ban books. It just makes them more popular.
Yeah.
She didn't mind that he read the book. She didn't mind that he was interested in its content. But she knew that he intentionally wrote the report just for a reaction from the teacher, almost like he's not getting enough attention at home, and he's acting out just to have somebody pay attention. Anyway, that couldn't be done.
Nah.
Nancy picked up the small paperback, gazing at its dark cover. It's in stark white was the title. This book, an autobiography. I don't think it is, but we'll see.
An autobiography?
We'll see.
Like
Yeah, I know what an autobiography is. I have a book podcast.
I don't know if they know, but okay.
I don't know if they
right,
know.
We'll give it a moment.
It's like fiction and nonfiction. Sometimes you don't know which ones to make them up. So the residents of Mandeville, especially those in positions of power, were not pleased at the content found within the book's pages. Corruption, cover-ups, privileged families, money, abuse, and murder were the main themes. Mandeville was made to look like a haven for the wealthy and a pit of iniquity for those without. Her former husband's name appeared a few times throughout. He'd been the assistant director of internal affairs for the Mandeville police at the time. and the author of this book had not been kind to the authorities in his telling of the events from 4 summers ago, back in 2015. Jeffrey
go to the
Woods.
Oh wait, no, that was 2016. My bad.
That's 2016. Jeffrey Woods, brother, friend, killer, by Leah Woods. It's part of this town's history, Mom. Why is it okay for us to learn about all the other horrible events of our past, but I can't write about this?
Actually, we're trying to get rid of those events too, so...
This story just hits too close to home for too many of us, Lane, Nancy insisted. She was feeling her temper start to rise a bit. Not just because her defiant son once again found a way to irritate his teacher, but because the events listed in the book, in her hands, had partially led to her husband leaving her and Lane behind.
Okay.
Lane would have been shocked to learn that his mother had purchased a copy of the same book his rejected report had been based upon. Nancy, like so many other residents of Mandeville, had been deeply impacted by the actions of Jeffrey Woods. Following the brutal slaughter of his parents, Jeff Woods had gone on to kill 4 more people before he finally vanished for good. Nancy hadn't personally known any of the victims, but in a town as small as Mandeville, she'd at least walked past them once or twice at the grocery store or the park. After killing his parents...
Ignored them too.
After killing his parents, I guess in universe this is his name. After killing his parents, Jeff the Killer targeted Officer Donald Williamson of the Mandeville Police Department.
Was
He'd
this
been
in the first story? Am I supposed to remember this?
I think this, it might refer to the part, like the beginning of the story where it's like in the future and Jeff's attacking some family home and this kid's like recounting it to the newspaper.
Oh yeah, and like Jeff had like no reason to do that, I recall.
Just keep cooking. So after killing his parents, he targeted the police officer, blah, 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 blah. He'd been the officer who first investigated Jeff Woods for fighting with 3 other kids in the parking lot of the village shopping center. He'd also been involved in the investigation of the now infamous flare gun incident in Randy Hayden's garage.
Was that what it was?
Lew Woods had the following to say about Williamson in his book. From Chapter 4, Corruption in Uniform. Never in my life would I have believed the corrupt small-town cop archetype could exist in such a larger-than-life capacity. Donald Williamson, my brother's 3rd victim, embodied so much corruption that one would almost think him a work of poorly written fiction. Don't do that.
That's that. Don't try and punch down.
Yeah,
That's
no,
just
don't
like,
do that.
come on, man. Come on.
Don't reference how bad this is. The woman at the video store
I
called
thought he was
police.
making fun of the first Jeff the Killer.
I think they're all shit. This is all anyway.
How dare you, Ben? How dare you?
Anyway, this takes me back to 2015. The woman at the video store called the police about the fight, and it was none other than Williamson who was assigned to investigate. He blamed my brother and I for the entire incident. He insisted that our failure to chain up our bikes somehow justified Randy, Keith, and Troy taking them for a joyride. He said that the witnesses saw Jeff take the first swing at Troy. Upon reviewing the police report that was made public after the incident took place, it was revealed that only the video store clerk witnessed the event. Her statement indicated that she saw a group of boys fighting in the parking lot. At no time does it specify that my brother instigated the altercation. Williamson would later be called
Jeff the Killer was innocent of that one.
Too true.
Yeah.
He would later be called to investigate the fight at Randy's home. I don't think was the fight at Randy's home. I thought it was. Anyway,
I thought it was I thought there were probably multiple fights.
Maybe there's multiple Jeff the Killers. I don't know. Anyway,
No, only one man could ever get his hair
maybe
burned
this
black
is a
and his
sequel
skin bleached.
to the rewritten Jeff the Killer.
There was a
that I did
rewrite
not-
of
yeah,
the first.
Yeah, they rewrote it to make it not so like poorly spelled. And
But that's like the charm. That's what I'm
Yeah.
here for.
well, and this guy's not doing like worlds better. So
It doesn't sound like it.
So it was reported. Oh God. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So the injury with the flare gun and the ultimate blinding and disfigurement inflicted upon my brother. It was reported that Jeff shot himself in the face with the flare gun.
Okay.
Williamson
All
once
right.
again
That
worked
checks
his
out.
skills at corruption. Rather than investigating the incident, he merely took Randy's statement. Paramedics on the
Oh, that
scene
was
le-
Randy's statement? Yeah, I don't know what happened. He just shot himself in the face with the flare gun.
Paramedics at the scene later stepped forward and admitted that Williamson could be seen coaching Randy, Keith, and Troy as they wrote their statements, practically feeding them their lines like a director in a stage play. The next victim my brother would take was likely the only true innocent one to fall. Benny Rosenberg, chief editor of the NOLA Watch, had been contacted by Jeff about 2 weeks after the murder of Williamson. By this time, the photograph taken of Jeff by Williamson's son had made the national headlines. The picture accompanied by USA Today's labeling, Jeff, Jeff the Killer, had by now turned my brother into a national sensation. Questions were being asked now, and I have no doubt in my mind that Randy Hayden's father, along with officials in the Mandeville Police Department, were scrambling to keep many of the facts of the case hidden. The Mandeville police were only giving cookie-cutter answers, usually falling back on the excuse that all the facts would be revealed once the case was closed. No one close to the investigation would speak in any detail, and tough questions were often directed to the MPD's Public Affairs Department, which somehow never seemed to have their telephones staffed. Phone messages were left unanswered, reporters were ignored, and everyone seemed to be in too much of a rush to stop and talk. The encounter between my brother and Rosenberg is one that is well documented. The tape recording that Rosenberg had been using to
Is Jeff
conduct.
supernatural? I thought he became some sort of supernatural killing machine.
I think he's in the Slender Mansion now, for whatever that's worth.
I still don't know exactly what that means, but
No one does.
okay. I'm glad it's not just me then.
So anyway, Monica Davenport, who'd been the assistant editor, released. There was a tape recording Rosenberg had been using. He interviewed Jeff on tape. Okay, so
Jeff post skin bleach, blackened hair.
Yeah, he's killed a couple people at this point, and he's doing interviews.
He's doing a sit down interview
He's doing a sit down interview.
after he's murdered at least one cop, and we know that they're cool with that kind of thing.
Well, no, I think he's about to murder the cop.
I thought the cop was his third victim, and this guy was his fourth.
I'll be honest, I'm only kind of paying attention.
Okay, join the club.
Yeah. So, Monica Davenport, who'd been the assistant editor, released the tapes in her own news documentary, Jeff Woods, The Killer Speaks. The recordings, the only known testimonial by Jeff himself, tell of the real encounters with Randy and his friends. The tapes reveal how Williamson worked to whitewash the investigation and served to cast further doubt on Randy's explanation of events with the flare gun.
Have the airtight alibi of he shot himself in the face.
You might know his father, Dick Cheney. This is Randy Cheney.
Yeah, do any of God damn, that makes us old, Ben, because then we have to explain like Dick Cheney shot his
Dick
friend
Cheney
in the
shot a
face.
man in the face, and the friend apologized to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dick Cheney kills people. So
No, he doesn't. He fails to kill people, and it's an embarrassing thing.
at a certain point, they just drop the italics, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, so the tapes were released after the investigation into the MPD, and Maxwell Hayden had already begun to be looked into. However, they helped to shed light on the corrupt actions committed
Who is
by
Maxwell Hayden?
Max. I don't know.
Okay, I wondered if I may have missed something, and now
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Rosenberg's death, for example, was not made public for almost 24 hours. That's not unusual. The police on scene claimed that they couldn't identify Rosenberg and had to conduct lab testing to uncover his identity. However, Monica Davenport, who'd actually contacted the police, testified that she'd given the 911 dispatcher Rosenberg's full name and had even explained why he was out in Mandeville that night. It is believed that due to Rosenberg's connection with my brother, the MPD were instructed to keep the matter quiet for as long as possible to protect the slowly recovering image of the town. The police did not want to have to admit that Jeff...
How is the image of the town recovering if he's still out there murdering people from the town?
Well, this is the next line's a little tricky on that point, because the police did not want to have to admit that Jeff Woods was still on the loose 2 weeks after his last murder. Well, they don't have him.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they have to.
You assume. I mean, we went on a manhunt for all kinds of people in the last year that the police didn't have in custody and just assumed would be on the loose. Right?
Yeah, you'd think you'd want people looking out for him so that you could catch him.
Yeah, he's really easy to notice too.
Let's get in the meat of this. There is also a darker conspiracy that I can only call such because no further evidence was ever discovered. I don't know what. I'm going to read that sentence again. There is also a darker conspiracy that I can only call such because no further evidence was ever discovered.
He can't call it a conspiracy otherwise, is what he's trying to say.
I think you
Because if
still
there
need...
were evidence...
Well, you can have evidence of a
he would
conspiracy.
just call it a fact.
A conspiracy doesn't necessarily mean it's not real.
Yeah, but like...
You can conspire
know
to
that.
do things. Conspiracy to commit murder is a real crime.
Yeah.
Anyway, however, considering the tainted reputation and obvious corruption within Mandeville, it stands to mention anyway. I'm really trying. I'm trying to keep the flow here.
You're making this a lot better.
Okay. According to one of the EMTs on the scene, Rosenberg was still alive when the police first arrived. She believes that the MPD acted immediately, or that had the MPD acted immediately, that one's on me, Rosenberg could have survived his attack by Jeff. They let this fucker die.
There's the conspiracy, Ben.
There's the conspiracy.
The conspiracy that we have no evidence of, but might be true.
The official police report states that when officers arrived, they did not initially see Rosenberg's body due to the lack of streetlights in the area. They claim to have searched the exterior of the small building where Rosenberg and Jeff conducted their interview. Then, the police officer on the scene claimed to hesitate to enter the building until he was able to confirm with his watch commander whether or not a warrant would be needed to enter. That was a long sentence. Davenport lambasts the police on this. As the regulations...
Okay, Davenport is who again?
I don't super know. Monica Davenport, no. Monica Davenport is the assistant editor. She's the one who called in about Rosenberg's death. Yeah.
Okay.
So she thinks that they let him die, and she's lambasting them.
Okay.
Keep up.
Perfect.
Okay. As the regulation, so she's lambasting them because, as the regulations clearly stated, that entering a building, this isn't a regulation, by the way, it's a law, without a warrant is lawful so long as the officers have suspicion that a crime has taken place inside said building. Well, they have to. It's called probable cause. I suspect this guy might not be American.
I kind of wondered if English was not his first language.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's called probable cause. That's what they need. They need probable cause that something criminal is happening in there.
Yeah, I smell weed in your car.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to search that.
Yeah. So
I smell weed in your house. So I'm coming
Furthermore, the door of the building was ajar at the time of the officer's arrival. Well, if he doesn't have to open the door, then he can just look in.
Yeah.
They don't even need probable cause for that.
Yeah, but like, what if there's someone with a scary gun in there?
Well, it's
Maybe
funny
we need
that you
to
should
call in 120 police officers.
It's funny that you should mention that because the door is wide open, and if he'd shined a flashlight in, it would have immediately revealed Rosenberg's body. Once the larger conspiracy began to become public knowledge, the rumors continued to evolve that the police didn't want Rosenberg to survive the injury due to the knowledge he'd gained from speaking to Jeff. They were not aware of the tape recording. And
why did
perhaps
Jeff attack this guy to begin with?
We don't know yet. And perhaps assumed that with Rosenberg dead, no further information about the Jeff murders could surface.
But Jeff is still alive.
Lou Wood's book cataloged the next victims in similar fashion. Keith Jacobson and Troy Lockett were Jeff's next victims. This took place 2 weeks after the death of Williamson, and a night after the death of the journalist from New Orleans. Had the Mandeville police not worked so hard to keep the death of Benny Rosenberg quiet, perhaps Keith and Troy's parents could have done something to protect them. They know Jeff is still on the loose. What are you talking about? They know that Jeff is on the loose, and Jeff obviously wants to kill their children. Anyway, they would have at least known that Jeff was still in the area. Why did they think he wasn't? Where did they think he went?
Yeah, this is a really shitty manhunt.
People in this, I don't think they loved their kids. I think they knew their kids were assholes. So,
yeah,
go play outside.
They're like, wow, really? He shot himself in the face with a flare gun? All right, well, you know what's coming for you, right? Like, bye.
So it's been 2 weeks since a bunch of people died, and with Rosenberg's death still not officially reported, the town was starting to relax again. Perhaps
Why? Why were they relaxing? They've never found this guy.
Because perhaps they all believed it was over with the murder of Williamson.
Why would they think that?
Oh, stupid. The double homicide...
I guess that's fair. They're just dumb as shit.
The double homicide took place at Keith Jacobson's home. Investigators believe that Jeff was able to gain entry to the house through an unlocked patio door. Keith was found brutally stabbed to death.
Okay, so he's not like a supernatural killer. It's just everyone is stupid in this town.
Being the only person of average intelligence in the town of the stupid is like a superpower.
Damn, that should be on the book jacket quote.
Okay. So Keith brutally stabbed to death in the kitchen. It is believed that Troy overheard the commotion, and from the second floor of the home... I don't think this is me. It is believed that Troy overheard the commotion and from the second floor of the home and was in the process of descending the stairs to investigate. His body was found at the base of the stairs. His death also caused by multiple stab wounds.
Okay.
Randy Hayden, who instigated the violence in the encounter with Jeff and I at the video store, and who is also believed to have set up the attack on Jeff at his home on the day of the flare gun injury. We still do not. There's no period yet. Was the only one to escape Mandeville alive. His parents, Bridget and Maxwell Hayden, discovered that their wealth and influence could not protect their son from the ramifications of his actions. Randy Hayden and his family moved at once. A moving company was contracted to collect their belongings. It is believed that Randy Hayden and his parents went into witness protection. A moving company was hired to pack their home for them, I know, as they were likely advised to avoid Mandeville until Jeff was captured. No shit. It was, in fact, the movers who would end up uncovering the massive cover-up and outright lies committed by Maxwell Hayden along with the Mandeville Police Department. Nancy felt her anger boil at this point. Before Jeff Woods and his family... Nancy's the mom, right? There's so many italics.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck's going
Nancy
on.
is the mom to the troubled kid. Nancy's
So I guess
the Xanax
Nancy's
coping mechanism.
remembering reading the book, but this is also in italics. Anyway, Nancy felt
Wait,
her
is
anger...
this her just remembering reading the book?
I think so. You know what I know. Nancy felt her anger boil at this point. Before Jeff Woods and his family had moved to Mandeville, she'd had a great life. Her husband had been a high-ranking member of the Mandeville Police. Her husband being a high-ranking member of the Mandeville Police meant that she enjoyed a certain degree of comfort within the city limits. Speeding tickets did not exist in Nancy's vocabulary, nor did parking
But you're still living
fines.
in rural America. I mean, you're not.
Or the need to always ensure that she was sober when driving.
Ah, I see.
Most of the officers knew who her husband was, and if they didn't, they would learn soon enough should they decide to issue her any form of citation.
Yeah.
She'd become
Don't
accustomed
stop
to
me
this,
from driving drunk.
and therefore she was not prepared for the public shaming that was soon to follow. Yes, no one is more beloved than the internal affairs cop.
Oh yeah, that is what he was.
Yeah, everybody loves that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna be happy with this next line. The book went on.
Uh-huh.
I will never understand why those that commit crimes record them. Perhaps there is a foolish undertone within all criminal actions that compels the guilty to leave those little breadcrumbs. Perhaps it is simply hubris. Maxwell Hayden had, in fact, instructed his company's director of loss prevention to supervise the movers personally on each of the 3 days that they were packing up the home. However, no one can be everywhere at once, and even under the watchful eye of Hayden's guard dog, the movers were able to strike gold. My personal belief is that the loss prevention associate was busy watching over the jewelry and other valuables. He likely never thought that the real buried treasure would be found in a simple, leather-bound day planner left in plain sight on Hayden's nightstand.
Why? Why not
According-
be like, hey, loss prevention guy, you need to go in there, you need to get my planner.
According to the mover, he'd picked up the planner and stuffed it into his pocket so that he could pick up the nightstand and carry it out of the room. By his own admission, he had no interest in the book. However, upon returning to his home that night, after a long day of moving furniture, the mover discovered that he'd forgotten to remove the planner from his pocket. He stated that he tossed the small book on his coffee table and had forgotten about it for a few days. By the time he
You're
realized
a shitty mover.
he was still in possession of the planner, the move was complete and the truck carrying all of the Hayden family's possessions was on its way to wherever they'd gone to
How did
hide.
it take 3 days to move?
They're rich. They got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but like,
And it's,
I'm like middle class, and it took me 2 hours. I mean, they just came
Yeah,
in,
you're not rich.
threw all my shit in, and
dude, the rich have,
How
65%
are
of,
they?
65% of the wealth now? Well, they're living in Mandeville, Louisiana, so
my bad. That's right, Manville, Louisiana, the richest county in America. all the wealthy socialites are flocking there.
not
That's
just
on me.
anyone could get into Mandeville, Louisiana. The mover reported taking the planner to Hayden's office building and leaving it at the receptionist's desk. From there, the chain of custody is unknown. That is, until it appeared again in the hands of the local media. By the time the small day planner made its rounds, it had visited the Federal Bureau of Investigation,
Also known as
the Kash Patel's funhouse,
oh yeah, I know that place.
the Louisiana State Justice Department, and the Attorney General's office, and about a half a dozen other organizations.
I'm waiting for Joe Biden to get involved.
The little day planner. This is 2015. He's resting.
He's the VP.
The
He's
little
crushing
day,
it as the VP.
yeah, he was really cool in that position where he didn't have to talk. The little day planner contained meetings and lunches, perhaps lunch meetings, scheduled between Maxwell Hayden and Paul Dermott, who at the time was the assistant director of internal affairs for the
Oh my
Mandeville Police Department. There's a lot more like procedure in this than I was expecting.
Yeah, there's
the meeting-
also a lot of. Yeah, you're right. This does not feel like a horror book. This feels like the Dune of horror books, Ben. This is.
You're paying it quite the compliment. I'm sure this would love to be the Dune of creepypasta. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Anyway, so he's meeting with the internal affairs cop. That sparked enough red flags for the powers that be that existed above or beyond Hayden's influence to dig deeper. By then, the questions were already being whispered about anyway. The physician at the hospital, Dr. Ronaldo Diaz, had already demanded a complete ballistics report from the day of the flare gun incident. He did not believe, based on the angle of the wound across Jeff's face,
we
that the
can all
injury
agree that
could
Jeff
be
did kill people, right?
Yeah, but he didn't shoot himself in the face with a flare gun, and that's where things start to unravel here. So he'd informed the authorities that he'd initially waited on filing the formal request for the report because he'd assumed the police would have further investigated Randy's questionable explanation on their own. It's a little wordy. If you wanted some feedback, it's a little wordy. It wasn't until he realized that wasn't going to happen that he took it a step further. To accompany this allegation, Hayden's planner showed a lunch scheduled with Mandeville's Police Department's Director of Crime Scene Investigation, Lara Dubois. The MPD went on to deny Diaz's request for further information, instead assuring him that the matter was being fully investigated by their own personnel. Okay, so his dad, Randy's dad was working with the internal affairs cops. So blah, 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 blah. He's setting up Jeff.
Why the internal affairs cop, though? That's the cop who investigates cops.
Yeah, so I guess they're going to try to sweep this whole thing under the rug, make Jeff seem like he wasn't. I guess it would be bad if we realized that Randy provoked Jeff and created the Jeff the Killer.
But Jeff does kill people and needs to be stopped. Where are we at on the whole locating him thing? He's impossible to miss. He's got bleached white skin.
I don't think they ever find him. I think he's in the Slender Mansion in one of our nation's state parks.
It's got to be Yellowstone, right?
It's not. It's something in the middle.
Where is the Slender Mansion.
I think it's all one word, Slender Mansion.
All right. So Google AI says it does not exist in the real world.
Shut the fuck up, Google.
Nicollet National Forest.
That sounds right.
In a story by Haslit.net, or as a location in the game Mansion. Okay, where is Nicollet National Forest?
I like this. We're doing live investigation. We're going to get you Slender Man here on this podcast.
It is in Wisconsin, so not in the
Bingo.
middle.
Isn't that where those girls stabbed that girl? It all's coming together. They had a plan.
All right.
Okay. So, all right. So
It's pretty goddamn far north, Ben. I don't know where you got the middle, but
I've skipped some stuff. The middle of the continent. Anyway. So we're back to Nancy and the emo kid. This destroyed us. You know that. Nancy suddenly shouted, causing her son to startle a bit in surprise. Jeff Woods caused more problems for this city than I can count. That's why this book is banned at your school, because we want this forgotten. We don't want Jeff the Killer to be part of our history. Lane began to argue back, perhaps to point out some hypocritical notion that his mother or his teacher was falling victim to, but Nancy continued to rant, giving Lane no time to speak.
That Xanax has not kicked in at all.
Your father had to leave because of this. Left us here to fend for ourselves. He had to do that. There was no other option because of Jeff the Killer. Max,
he left, and now I can't drive drunk.
Max Hayden, that bastard, cut some sort of deal, testified against the city that he'd called home for so long. Now he's living a new life with his new name, and his son is probably getting ready to start college or something with his secret identity.
Hot new wife or whatever.
And he'll never have to face the consequences that you and I did, Lane.
Yeah, Lane, you asshole. Have you ever driven drunk? I have all the time, but I can't anymore.
And now, 4 years later, when the dust has finally settled just a bit, when people no longer look at me and see Paul Dermot's wife, when people no longer whisper about me when I turn down the aisle at the store. Look,
leave.
Look, there is the lady that drives drunk all the time.
There's that lady that drives drunk all the time.
Now, this fucking book comes out. Everything that I've worked so hard to leave behind, now brought back to life, once again, for the world to gawk at. Nancy was crying now.
Just move.
I didn't make her crying because I didn't know she was crying at the time I was reading it.
Okay.
So, Lane was trapped in that realm between the sympathy he felt for his mother and the anger he still harbored for his book report being denied.
Those are two equally but important emotions.
So two equally important emotions. So he simply exited the kitchen with no further commentary on the matter. He'd returned to his bedroom and took to the internet to voice his rage instead.
Oh, that's
he logged onto his Facebook profile and began a long rant about censorship, freedom of speech, corruption, and the hypocritical world that he was forced to exist within.
I didn't ask to be born, Mom.
He went into vivid detail about Lou Wood's book, about how Jeff the Killer was the only thing that put Mandeville, Louisiana on the map, about how his teacher was simply afraid of the truth, and so on it went.
Is that what it said? Or is that you just going
that's
like, yada, yada, yada? Okay.
No, that's what it said. It says, and so on it went. After Lane Dermott felt... You better believe if I had this kid's Facebook around, I'd read it. After Lane Dermott felt that his work in the field of exposing social injustice was done for the day, he collapsed on his bed and dozed off, still brooding over the unfair nature of life. Why do roses have thorns?
Is that from the book?
No, I added that. I just like
Okay.
if life is fair, why do roses have thorns? You know, like why does something beautiful have to hurt? People don't think about stuff like that, but I do. That's why I'm gonna get out of this town.
Yeah, why the fuck does your mom not get out of this town?
She can't drive drunk anymore, and she's never sober.
She forgot how to drive sober.
She gets really anxious about her driving, and so she has to get a little drunk to ease the nerves. Okay, death visits. Several hours
Is this
later,
a new chapter?
I don't know. It's a header that says death visits.
Okay. Hey, say, did we ever catch that Jeff the Killer fellow?
Nope.
From what I assume is years ago at this point, right?
4 years ago. Yeah, no, we didn't. I think I told you where he was. Keep up.
Why haven't we gone there? To the Slender Mansion, Ben?
Can't find it. It's in the middle somewhere.
It's in the Nicollet National Forest.
It's a big fucking forest, dude. It's gonna take 5, maybe 10 guys. Who's gonna authorize that overtime? You?
That's fair, you know?
So, several hours later, he was awoken by a commotion from outside of his bedroom. The faded light coming in through the window told Lane that it was late in the evening. There was suddenly a loud crash, followed by what he thought just might be soft cries. The whimpering tone sounded as though it belonged to his mother. Lane stood from his bed and placed his ear to the door. Don't rush in there, Lane. Don't be a hero now. Now he was certain the voice belonged to his mother. At first he didn't react.
You're stabbing me! Ah!
Over the years since... Okay, there's a reason for this. Over the years since her husband left, she'd fallen into bouts of depression. And it was not too uncommon for her to suddenly begin to cry with no apparent provocation. The crashing sound, though, that was something new. It had been too loud to just be
furniture from all the
a simple plate falling and shattering or a picture dropping from the wall. Slowly, Lane cracked the bedroom door open and could now hear his mother better. She wasn't just softly crying, but rather sounded as though she were begging. Please don't hurt us. Please, just leave. Lane looked around his room for something, anything that he could use to defend himself. However, it had gotten dark outside, and he didn't want to risk turning on his bedroom light and alerting whoever was terrifying his mother that he was back there. He didn't have a cellular phone or a landline in his bedroom. And with
cellular phone?
That's what it says.
Are you a boomer? What the fuck?
That's how teenagers talked in 2015. And with nothing immediately visible to use for self-defense, his only options were to stay hidden or to go out and see what was happening. He could have likely stood in his doorway and debated this all night, but suddenly his mother screamed, raising her voice from the sheepish tone she'd been uttering her pleas in, to a full-on sound of terror and panic. No! Please, no! The voice of Nancy carried back to Lane. Lane exited his bedroom and stepped into the darkening hallway of his home. I thought it
was going to be Lane crawled into his closet and closed the door.
I'm going to miss you, Mom. What little light still came through the windows was that dull orange that only late twilight could produce, or early morning. The house was small, and within a few steps he knew that he'd be able to see into the living room, really building suspense here. Still looking around for any means of self-defense.
Literally cannot think of a single thing he could use.
Lane's eyes fell on the small wooden stand that sat in the hallway of their home. Their phone stand that was never used for a phone, since the only jack was located in the living room, contained a small shelf underneath its base.
This is an oddly specific phone. And also, it's 2019.
sometimes his mother would keep her few sewing instruments in there.
There you go. Get some needles or something.
I think your fist might be better.
The element of surprise would be nice. You just running tackle them, right?
Yeah, and poke him with a needle, and that'll really piss him off.
Jab him a few times.
Yeah, I might get infected later.
Yeah, fuck you.
He knew there was needles and thread, but what he now prayed for was her sharp sewing shears. They sprung to mind because Lane was told from the time he was a small child that they were dangerous, sharp as knives. And every time he touched them as far back as he could recall, Nancy felt it was her duty to remind him to be careful.
I mean, it is kind of your duty as a parent to...
And it's really hard.
Yeah. It's really... Every time this guy tries to run with scissors, I've got to stop him.
Like, this thing is just trying to die all the time. And I'm going to be the one they blame. Anyway, as silently as possible, Lane opened the drawer, feeling a degree of gratitude at how silently the shelf glided out. Look down, he saw that the long scissors were in fact in the drawer. Being careful not to make a sound,
his first language.
he drew them out.
Cut him some slack. There's no way.
With a shaky sigh of nerves, once more began to move towards the sound of his mother's begging. Lane slowly
Is she
peeked.
dead at this point? Because I feel like he's taken a long time.
She's putting on quite a show. Lane, this is all like anime time, right?
Yeah.
This is
the planet Namek is going to explode in 5 minutes.
Well, no, it's like we have time to describe everything that Goku's doing, and like he's charging up. It feels like for 20 seconds, but that's slowed down so that your feeble brain can comprehend. Anyway, slowly peeked in the room, his eyes growing enormous and his heart freezing in place at the sight before him. His mother, cowering on the sofa, pushed back as far into the backrest as anyone could, was holding her hands up in a pleading gesture. She was crying loudly. This sight alone, though it was not what pulled Lane from his former state of cautious fear and into a new state of crippling panic, he'd seen his mother break down and cry many times, especially during the first year that his father left.
Okay, yeah, there's another person in the room, isn't there?
It was the source of her current horror that froze Lane in his tracks. This guy's a regular Lovecraft. This is They're at the door right now. It stood close to 6 feet tall, dressed in ragged clothing with long, filthy black hair, partially hiding one side of its face, and a long
He really
kitchen
is.
knife.
No one understands me. Wait, all he has is a kitchen knife? Nancy, stand up and tackle him. Like, come on, a kitchen knife.
But it's gripped in his hand.
You could take so many stabs and still be alive.
Yeah, but not well.
Yeah, well, like, it's better than, like, being in a near horizontal position with
That's
your
when you start
hand...
kicking.
You start kicking it. Kick it. Does he still have a dick and balls?
I think you and I should do another podcast where we critique people's last moments and see what they could have done better.
Well, Nancy really needs to do literally anything other than what she's doing right now.
I mean, in so many ways. In so many ways, dude. She's in that she's in that Xanax space right now. Okay.
Xanax space.
She knows she should care about this, but the care just isn't coming.
That's why you put it under your tongue instead of swallowing it. It's faster and it gets out of your system faster.
I don't want it out of my system faster. I want to ride that lightning.
You just keep taking just take another one. Just one after another, just nonstop. Wash it down with alcohol, and then go drive, and your husband will get you out.
Words about books is not medical advice.
Yeah, do not take any of this as medical advice. Terrible. No. Stop it.
If you're trying to live a long and healthy life, do the opposite. Anyway, it was tilting its head back and forth, almost as though it were some curious animal trying to figure out the best place to strike its prey.
Nodding his head. Uh-huh.
No, I think it's side to side. I think he's looking like a cat.
Back and forth though. Like he keeps doing the
What would you prefer? To and fro?
I would prefer once, and then you stop making that motion. I'm a little concerned for this guy.
It would change position before the sofa every few seconds, as though attempting to further torment Nancy. He's like juking and jiving. And like, I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you. Kept her unsure of.
He's Jason from the Friday the 13th NES game, where he's juking back and forth. He's like running in place while moving around.
So anyway, he was trying to keep her unsure of where he would strike. Lane risked taking another step closer, and suddenly, the ghoulish intruder looked up at him. It was in that moment that Lane found himself trapped deeply between disbelief and amazement. The face staring at him from across the living room was far too iconic to mistake.
Yes,
he
has bleached white skin, and we never caught him 4 years ago.
From one side, an almost sane eye locked in. A smile formed as it realized it had trapped Lane in fear. The other side of its face, though, that was something drawn perhaps on the tapestries of hell.
It's Bell's palsy, and how dare you? How dare you, okay? It's a common condition, and how dare you?
No, you know what Lane should have done? Be like, you look like you shot yourself in the face with a flare gun.
That would have really got him.
That would really get his goat. So the eye on the other side of the face was nothing more than a milky white bulb. Lane felt
that's from shooting himself in the face with a flare gun. I remember this.
This is what the eyes of some monstrous creature might develop should it spend its life swimming about in the pits of the Mariana Trench.
Oh. So half of his body was buried in the Mariana Trench and half of his body was...
Well, no, I think he's saying he looks like some kind of like weird cave monster. Yeah, like Gollum. He's half Gollum.
He's half Gollum, okay.
The scar stopped briefly at the blank eye, but began again above the eyebrow. You know that way it does for cool guys in movies? Traveling up the forehead and onto the scalp. Lane slowly raised the scissors to chest level, now gripping them with both hands. Understandably, Lane could not overcome the pure shock of finding one of the decade's most infamous serial killers standing in his living room.
Kick his ass!
We're going to cut back to Lou's book.
Oh my god, why?
From chapter 7.
Why are we taking all the suspense and then just like, and let's go back?
Denial and truth. Hyphen the fate of my brother.
He's still on the loose.
What used to keep me up at night most often, what caused me the most regret and pain, was the fact that I slept through Jeff's farewell. I only vaguely remember it now, my brother waking me up, telling me that I was free now. I remember feeling annoyed because, well, who enjoys being woken up in the middle of the night? Yeah. I remember he told me that he loved me, that I was his best friend. I don't think he said any of this. No. I remember saying something like, love you too, let me go back to sleep, or something to that effect. When I woke up the next morning, I just got up and started my normal routine. It wasn't until walking down the stairs towards the kitchen that I realized the house was too quiet. Our mother always had the television on in the living room during the day. It was almost 10 a.m., and the house was silent. It would still be another hour before I decided to open my parents' bedroom door. The rest of that week is still a blur in my mind. I remember the police arriving, my parents being taken out wrapped in white sheets.
Oh my god, it looks like your parents stabbed themselves multiple times in the chest.
I was sure that Jeff had been kidnapped by whoever murdered our parents. Of course, I'd remembered him waking me up with his cryptic goodbyes, but when it's your brother, a trusted face you've known your entire life that's half Gollum and half maybe sane...
Yeah, wait a minute. Was he already transformed into a horrible monster?
Definitely was. It's not exactly easy to apply that person to murder. However, once the murder of Williamson took place, once the tabloids labeled him Jeff the Killer because the guy who was naming stuff was out that day, well, by then, it was pretty much impossible to deny. Once Monica Davenport released the Jeff tapes, well, denial was all I had left. That doesn't make any sense. After the murders,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. What are you talking about? You don't have denial either.
After the murders of Keith and Troy, though, well, that was it. Months rolled into years, and pretty soon Jeff was becoming a forgotten entity. By then, I'd moved from Louisiana. I had family in Texas and aunt and uncle.
Oh, so he could just move. Oh, no, sorry, that was Lane.
They were very compassionate. They understood what I'd gone through. And let me pretty much spend the next year healing. I could still remember sitting up in bed out there in Texas, feeling tears pooling in the corners of my eyes. My greatest fear was that perhaps Jeff was trying to find me. That he needed help. He needed help. I mean, God. I pictured him waiting around our very short-lived home in Mandeville. Perhaps wondering where I was. Those sorts of thoughts kept me up for most of that year. Sometimes a letter would come addressed to me out there in Houston. It would be forwarded from the old address. No return address, usually. I would get so excited as I tore it open, convinced that Jeff had found a way to write to me, to let me know that he was alive.
Nope, pre-approved for a credit card at only 15.5% APY.
When it turned out to be a piece of junk mail, just some advertisement designed to look like a real piece of mail, my heart would sink. And I'd feel that regret creeping back in. Regret for not waking up and talking to Jeff that night.
And realizing he was a monster man.
At the very least,
definitely was.
At the very least, I could have told him goodbye.
You did.
Cut back to the present. Jeff.
Cut back to the present. Jeff is trying to murder this guy's mom.
Jeff the Killer, Lane whispered, still holding up the scissors. Jeff looked down at Nancy. Only Jeff is in italics. Jeff looked down at Nancy, his face locked into a twisted mask of insanity, and drove the knife downwards into her chest.
All right, Lane, that's your opportunity. You're not going to get another opening. You charge him, you start stabbing him in the face.
Go to sleep. Shit, fuck! Jeff screamed, suddenly releasing the knife and letting it fall to the sofa. Lane looked over and saw that his mother had brought the point of her knee directly into the groin of her attacker.
There you go!
Jeff staggered back against... Jeff staggered back against the wall, gripping his crotch.
Wait, did he really say, go to sleep? Oh,
yes!
Shit.
Yes, I'm reading it right. That's real, buddy.
Go to... Oh!
So he's back against the wall.
One part of his body that didn't get bleached and burned was his dick and balls, man.
Was his dick and balls, yep. So he staggered back against the wall, gripping his crotch and still trying to threaten both Nancy and Lane, but probably not doing a great job, you know?
Still trying to... I'm gonna get you!
What the intruder didn't account for was that Nancy McDermott had spent the majority of her adult life married to a police officer. He'd dragged her to every self-defense course that he could.
Then why was she on the couch in the least defensible position you could possibly be?
Because he caught her high as balls.
You know what? That is fair. That is fair.
For years, the training was drilled into her. Always go for the soft parts. The eyes, the testicles, the throat, the heart. Jeff, again in italics, Jeff suddenly lunged, attempting to dodge around Nancy and grab the knife that he dropped during the initial kick. Lane was still frozen in place.
Lane,
See,
get in there.
Lane, maybe you should be taking self-defense courses instead of writing your stupid poems. For all the dark poetry and journal entries, this is real, okay? Wow, they're doing it. For all the dark poetry and journal entries that he'd created, many detailing the ways he'd like to exact revenge on those that didn't appreciate him, mostly girls and teachers. Yeah, you're one of those. Now that he actually had the chance to stab someone, he found that he simply couldn't manage the act. That happens to a lot of guys. Don't worry about it. Jeff grabbed for the knife.
He's not full of adrenaline at all.
Jeff grabbed for the knife, got one hand around the hilt, but never had the chance to brandish it.
And got another kick right into his groin.
At the very moment that he awkwardly attempted to rotate the blade, Nancy brought her living room lamp down over her attacker's head. There was a grunt of pain as Jeff fell forward onto the sofa. The lamp shattered, but before Lane could blink, his mother grabbed the next closest weapon, the large crystal ashtray that sat on their coffee table. People still smoked indoors in 2015.
Fuck yeah, and they had landlines.
Yeah.
Wait, this is 2015? I thought it was 2019 at this point.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's 4 years after 2015, yeah. She raised the object... Oh boy, I got bad news for him about the next year. She raised the object... We're going to start a podcast. She raised the object over her head with a scream of rage. Smashed it over the young man's head, who moments before had her under what he believed to be complete control. Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, Jeff the Killed, am I right?
Yeah.
Swish, put that as the headline. Print it. I'm going to lunch.
Oh God, Lane, are you all right? Yeah, worry about him. yeah, Mom. I was just about to rush in there. Are you all right?
Is that what he said?
No.
I saw you had it, and I didn't want to break up your tempo.
Yeah, you know how you tell me never sneak up on you.
Lane, go get the gun from the other room.
He asks if she's all right. Before she could answer, Lane began to move closer to the unmoving body on his living room sofa. Stay back, Lane. He might get up. Mom,
No, he's dead.
I don't think he's getting back up. Look. Lane pointed at the blood pooling beneath the still body on the couch.
Oh yeah, he's fucking dead. It turns out all you needed to stop Jeff the Killer was like a heavy object.
Who'd have thought? We're cutting away again.
Okay.
From the 2016, you're right, it's 2019. From the 2016 documentary, Jeff Woods, The Killer Speaks by Monica Davenport.
Actually, we already started our podcast at this point, Ben. We just haven't released it yet.
Yeah, we're recording at this point. Wow. While Jeff's getting brained on a couch, we were recording Heir to the Empire.
Yeah.
Think about
Good
that.
times.
Yeah, memories. Okay. So we're doing the interview. This is the interview. Okay. Monica is here on the outskirts of Mandeville, Louisiana, where a group of high school kids gather on a regular basis. What might be the purpose of the gathering? Well, they call themselves Jeff's Killers. And they view him as a sort of anti-hero. I was going to say that could go either way. You could be like, we're going to kill Jeff, or we're killers that belong to Jeff. Many say that they are anxiously awaiting the opportunity to meet him in person. The film cuts to a montage of various teenage participants, many with scars artificially decorated into the side of their faces. Some with contact
They're the
lenses.
museum Fremen.
Yeah. Some that's a weird way to think of this. Some with contact lenses giving one eye a cosmetically enhanced whiteness.
Yeah, we get it. You're Kane from the WWE. We get it.
All of the teens give short answers, some just one word, others a short phrase. All the same message, though. Jeff Woods. We're here to celebrate Jeff the Killer. The Killer. Always Jeff Woods. Always.
Why?
Monica asks, why did you come out here to celebrate Jeffrey Woods? He's a serial killer. He murdered his parents. How do you find
Not
a
even
hero?
a cool
in that?
serial killer, you know?
Girl one. Jeff is like, he showed the world that you can do something about abuse. So many of us, we've grown up dealing with that stuff and we can't do shit. Jeff, though, he did it. Guy one.
I mean, I guess he did something.
Guy one. Yeah, Jeff Woods, he was a nice guy. He tried so hard to turn the other cheek
not
and all
a
that
nice
crap.
Guy. He
they
was
teach us in
an
school?
asshole way before he shot himself in the face with a flare gun.
He did everything the way we were taught to do it. All the crap society tells us are the stepping stones to being a normal and happy person. For most of us, girl two cutting off guy one. For most of us, it works out great. You get to be the cheerleader or some crap. You get to march in the Labor Day parade. Woo. Jeff, though, all the lies they tried to tell us to be happy, well, he just snapped and did it his own way.
Yeah.
Guy two.
The way that gets you shot or in jail.
Guy two.
Or both.
Nah, forget all that shit. Jeff the Killer is fucking rage turned all the way up. People out there...
I feel like I can smell these people, Ben.
People out there, they see us walking around and they think we're freaks. Or they think we're wick. But Jeff the Killer showed the fucking world that you can only push someone say damned far.
Say damn far.
So keep pushing us, motherfucker. Go ahead.
Yeah, most of the people who thought like that, I think most people didn't even look at him twice.
Monica addressing the group as a whole. So, do you all believe that Jeffrey Woods could still be alive? And if so, what would you say to him if you had the chance? Various responses are shouted toward the camera. Hang Randy Hayden by his fucking balls! Burn this town down! Monica speaking directly to a young man. And you, what would you say to Jeff Woods? Young man, I'd say, come hang out with us. Come show us how you managed to let go of all that shit holding you down all those years. We want to be free, just like you.
It doesn't sound all that complicated. Start handing people flare guns.
Next heading. Working overtime. Fucking freaks. The haggard-looking man mutters before dipping a glazed donut into a mug of cheap coffee. Although only in his early 40s, Detective Dalton Bradshaw of the Mandeville Police Department.
God,
much older.
We're still here. The book's over.
His hairline.
Imagine if Friday the 13th was just people talking about Jason, and then he shows up and gets kicked in the nuts, and that's the fucking book, or that's the movie.
That would be a bad Friday the 13th.
Friday XI, right? Because there's nothing after Jason in space, right?
Yeah, there is. They've rebooted it.
Well, that doesn't count.
I don't know if there's anything after Jason in space. I don't know when the Jason versus Freddy ones happen.
Ones? Plural?
Yeah, I think there's more than one.
Oh my god. Okay.
So anyway, this guy's, you could tell from his donut, he's a cop. Although he's only in his early 40s, Detective Dalton Bradshaw of the Mandeville Police Department looked much older. His hairline has begun to retreat from his forehead a bit more each year. The 2 packs of Pall Mall Reds that he smokes between waking up at dawn and returning home, oftentimes well after dark, having done nothing to assist in preserving his once chiseled appearance. His teeth were now stained from the tobacco, his face bore wrinkles, and his eyes always looked exhausted, regardless of how much he slept. This guy's getting a little flowery now. He's getting a little confident in his writing. Um,
That's dangerous, Ben.
That's a dangerous game to play. So he'd been watching various clips from Davenport's documentary while waiting at the tiny and disgusting little coffee and donut joint for the better part of 2 hours.
Who is this guy?
This is Dalton Bradshaw. I believe I covered that. So
yeah, but like, who the fuck is that?
we're gonna have to find out. He's a cop. So apparently a young man had broken into a residential and attempted to hold one of the occupants at knife point. We're coming back into the story. The woman had fought back and the asshole died by his own blade. That's not what happened. The woman and her kid were safe, and as far as Dalton was concerned, this shit could wait until the morning.
I'm sorry?
Let the uniforms and the fucking coroner's people come out and clean up the body. This was Mandeville, after all. Only one exciting thing ever happened out here, and that was 4 years ago. This guy was probably some meth head from out in the backwoods that was trying to score some cash to buy some dope. Then more information came in. The one exciting thing that happened 4 years ago in Mandeville, the only thing that could possibly keep Dalton on the clock and not at home, taking off his suit and climbing into a hot shower, just happened to be the one fucking thing that was lying in a pool of his own blood on Nancy Dermott's sofa. That crazy bitch thinks she killed Jeffrey Woods? Dalton asked his watch commander as he grabbed his notebook and slung on his sport coat.
So we're back in the present now, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. That crazy bitch just happens to be Nancy Dermott, as in ex-wife of Paul Dermott, the same guy that was running favors for Maxwell Hayden. There's a lot of plot for a Jeff the Killer thing here. There's a lot going on here. Relax, Cap'n. I don't know how to say that without sounding stupid. I'm just going to go over there and do a nice little interview, make sure the body gets moved, and we can pick this up tomorrow. The hell we can, the captain replied in anger. I'm arranging for a specialist from Baton Rouge to work with you on this. That is an order.
Your high school French is really coming through.
Baton Rouge. That's how they say it in the bayou. You wouldn't know. Like, it's very authentic what I'm doing. The people from Baton Rouge are going to get it. So just go and stuff the donuts in your face at the little shit dive you like. So he's going to go check out what's going on there. I'm going to skip.
What?
I'm going to skip ahead.
Why, Ben? This is riveting stuff.
Do you want?
Definitely
Okay.
not checking out.
Okay, fine.
No. You already let the genie out of the bottle. You have to skip ahead now.
Okay. I think what you're missing here is he's taking. The cop is taking Adderall he was not prescribed.
My God.
I have no idea where this is going, so we're going to read it. From 4th grade school project. Who is your hero? By Jeremy Lyman. Crestwood Elementary School, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My hero is my Uncle Simon. Uncle Simon works as a special kind of police officer who tries to arrest criminals who have already gotten away. His job is to study the clues and to try to find the bad people. Even when no one else can find them, he keeps us safe. I'm going to go ahead and assume by the beard stubble and the bloodshot eyes that you're Dalton Bradshaw, a voice suddenly spoke. We're just out of it now.
I'm sorry, what happened? I feel like I missed something.
We were watching part of a documentary and then we just stopped watching it.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so who's coming to talk to him? This is the guy from Baton Rouge. He's some kind of CSI guy. His name's Simon Lyman.
Is that real?
Yeah. They're making fun of it right now. His parents didn't name him Simon. They actually called me Solomon Lyman. I legally changed my first name to Simon when I turned 18. Why the hell would you do that? Duh, so it would rhyme. We're going to skip ahead. I'm still skipping. The cops are still introducing themselves to each other. Okay. Frank handed the pictures to Dalton, at which point Simon immediately snatched them away. He looked through them slowly at first as Dalton joined in on the viewing. But as he progressed through them, he began to flip them over faster and faster. The collection of photographs ranged from a close-up of the intruder's face to the shots of his corpse collapsed on the sofa. What information could be gathered on site by the CSI crew were all cataloged, such as the height, estimated weight, etc. Well, this isn't Jeff Woods, that's for sure, Simon stated with no doubt, handing the pictures to Dalton. How can you be so sure? Well, the height is wrong, first of all. This guy's taller. Jeff Woods stood at 5'10". Also, looking at his clothing, if Jeff Woods has really been stalking the countryside out there for the last 4 years, I doubt he'd be wearing new clothes. Why do you doubt that? He could get new clothes.
No. No.
So
But wait, how?
So here's what's going on here. They're like, new clothes. His clothes look like shit. And he's like, well, I'm a CSI guy and I know something about something. And he obviously bought new clothes and then ripped them up himself. This is a Jeff the Killer costume. So he got new clothes. They're arguing about this. It's Jeff the Killer costume.
Okay.
Somebody
Do you
posted
go to a Spirit Halloween for that?
Yeah,
or-
you actually can get a Jeff the Killer mask at Spirit Halloween.
I'm sure you fucking can.
So they're arguing about this. So it wasn't the real Jeff. It wasn't the real Jeff who attacked. Looking at my clock here. We should.
So it wasn't the real Jeff that got kicked in the nuts and then beaten with. So the real. Okay, so we are an hour and a half into recording. The real Jeff hasn't even shown up yet.
Yeah,
Is that what you're telling me?
that's what I'm telling you. That was a fake Jeff. Well, what would you rather, Nate? Okay, would you rather that the real Jeff got kicked in the nuts and then bashed over the head and is dead now?
Kind of. Kind of. At this point, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
At least that'd be really funny.
Okay. Let's go a little further. Let's see what I've skipped quite far
What is
ahead.
happening? Why
Okay.
is this? Why is this like a weird like police procedural slash?
You know, a lot of horror sequels do this, where the first one is the killer, and then like the second one is people investigating it and not believing what happened.
Okay.
Like Halloween 2 takes place in the hospital on the night after Halloween. Like,
Wait, really?
yeah, Halloween 2 is like Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital being treated for like the wounds she sustained from Michael Myers attacking her, and then Michael Myers comes into the hospital and starts killing everybody.
Okay.
They didn't want to make it. I don't know if that's obvious to people who watch the movie. It's pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, didn't they want Halloween to be an anthology, and that's why the third one had nothing to do with?
No, Halloween was supposed to be a one and done because John Carpenter
Oh.
wanted to make a Western or something.
Oh.
But then it got way too successful and they had to do more with it.
Yeah, I mean, horror is like you can shit out a horror movie on a budget. Like Paranormal looks like it was made for like $10.
Oh, yeah. Okay, they're still talking about how it's not Jeff Woods.
Okay. How much did you have to skip to get to that point?
A lot. This is a lot. Okay, I'm going to read something. This is from a section called The Dead Prophet Speaks. From WDSU New Orleans. Grisly
Dead
murder.
Prophet? Who the fuck is that?
Grisly murder on the North Shore. Maybe it's Paul Muad'Dib come back from the desert. Reported by Helena Morrison. Helena, tonight the residents of Mandeville are once again taken back to the chilling serial killings of 2015 involving teenage murderer Jeffrey Woods, known in the media as Jeff the Killer. Last night, police responded to an abandoned home located in a long-forgotten part of Mandeville known as Shortcut Road. Local teens calling themselves Jeff's Killers were once known to frequent these homes. However,
This is one of those Jeff's Killers who gets kicked in the nuts.
However, in
gets bashed over the face and dies.
In a statement by
That
Mandeville
should've just been where it ended, man. He
Police
just fucking
chief-
hit over the head, blood's just oozing out of his pores. They're like, "Wow, mom, you fucking killed him. That was fucking easy."
So Jeff's Killers don't hang out here anymore. I guess they used to hang out here, but now they don't. Now it appears
But then they turned 19 years old and they realized that it's fucking lame, and
Yeah,
they
they
were
aged
embarrassed
out.
by their cringe activity.
they started playing Vampire the Masquerade. They switched things.
God damn it.
The scene now cuts from the newsroom to footage from the prior night on Shortcut Road. Helena Morrison can be seen standing in front of a small blighted home as dozens of police, EMTs, and other officials mill about in the front yard, some entering into the dark home as others take photographs and examine the area. The screen splits, showing Morrison in the center of the newsroom, as the footage of the crime scene continues to play on the other half of the screen. Helena, WDSU received an anonymous tip around 11:20 last night, informing us that if we wanted to be the first on the scene for what the caller described as his masterpiece, that we should hurry to 114 Shortcut Road. We arrived around the same time as the first police cruisers began to show up,
Love that name, Shortcut Road.
and we were not allowed to bring out cameras into the house. However, it soon became apparent from the reaction of the officers reporting on the scene that something horrific had taken place in the small town that had once prided itself on its practically non-existent crime rate. I'm going to play for you the call that we received last night from the unknown tipster. However, I must warn viewers at home that this audio recording is disturbing.
Okay, but it's a book.
The screen... I'll make it disturbing.
Okay.
The screen shifts to a gray screen with a stock photo of a telephone in one corner. We don't need this.
No, I'm
This is
disturbed.
very long. This is very
This is
long.
the audio recording. This is someone telling us about. Wait, this has to be if it's an audio recording, this literally is someone narrating, right?
No, okay. So, male voice, modified slightly to raise the pitch. My masterpiece awaits those with curious eyes.
Oh, my balls!
He has much prophecy to share. Will it be heard before the soul within his voice
Okay, who the
dies
fuck
forever?
is this? Is this Jeff?
I don't know.
When did Jeff become a
many lies are
prophet of
told.
anything?
So
He was just a jackass kid who shot himself in the
speak
face with a flare gun and then blamed the
fools
neighborhood
listen.
kids who did nothing wrong, Ben.
I have the truth if you will come and bear witness. 114 Shortcut Road. The dead speak there. Jeff's killers worship a false god. Only the truth can open the door to freedom. Come, find the truth. The screen returns to Helena. As I said before, we were not allowed into the crime scene. However, a source working on the investigation did share with us a first-hand account of what he saw in the house. The witness describes the scene as something from a horror movie. The body of a man nailed to the wall of the home. Rescuers believe the victim to still be living at the time of discovery, as a faint voice was heard whispering from his mouth. That's a good indication. That's one way to tell if somebody's alive, is if they're talking to you. So, however,
Except for in this case, Ben, where he had a tape recorder hidden under his body.
well, Nathaniel, however, upon further investigation, it was discovered that it was a small MP3 device that was forced into the victim's mouth and was playing a recorded message on a constant loop.
Fucking kidding.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
God, this is awful.
This is awful.
This is terrible.
Oh, God. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, it was playing on a constant loop. Screen cuts back. The identity of the victim has yet to be released as the investigation is still ongoing. The contents of the recording are also being kept within police custody until further information is available. So 4 days passed and things were bad for Dalton Bradshaw and Simon Lyman. It's a buddy cop thing now. The news had spread like wildfire.
Why is this a thing?
The internet was burning up with stories about Mandeville's infamous Jeff the Killer. Rumors were flying about. Had Jeff returned? Was there a copycat serial killer on the loose? Did the cult-like youths that once called themselves Jeff's Killers finally organize and become violent, as they had repeatedly threatened to do? Many people were demanding answers, and the mayor's office, along with the chief of police, were struck with a deluge of furious citizens wanting the truth. Sadly, for all their efforts, no truths could be solidified yet. What the news had failed to report on the night of the murder on Shortcut Road was being pieced together by everyone from YouTube commentators to established news sources. You didn't mention podcasters, but we were probably there. However, the Mandeville police, who had the answers, were ordered to remain silent. Any officer found responsible for providing information to the press would be terminated on the spot, at which point he would probably provide the rest of the information to the press.
Yeah.
The chief of police, Mitchell Hardy, had raised the bar even higher by threatening his staff with criminal charges of malfeasance in office should any journalist become privy to the information before he and the mayor were ready to have a press release. What had been found, God, I hope we're getting to the point, was something far too terrible to actually broadcast on the nightly news anyway. Upon arrival, blah, 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 they found the body of Trent Vickers, a resident of Mandeville, known troublemaker. Vickers was in his mid-20s, played in a heavy metal band, was a thorn in the side of the law enforcement. Petty criminal, blah, blah, blah. More than that, though, Vickers was the self-proclaimed founding member of Jeff's Killers. Here we go. He'd been generous.
Is he the guy who got kicked in the balls?
I think that guy's dead. I think that's somebody else.
I think that was this guy.
No, this guy's dead, nailed to the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. He's got the MP3 player stuffed in his mouth. It's complicated stuff, but I think you'll get there. I'm
in and out, so no, I will not get there.
He was the founding member of Jeff's Killers. God, there's so much plot.
There is a stupid amount of plot. Yeah.
This, of course, meant that he had been in direct conflict with the Mandeville police, but no more harm. I don't care, dude. Shut the fuck up. Oh, God. Mudslinging, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what did this guy do? Oh, okay, so his name is Trent Vickers. He's an asshole. He threatens people. He's a founding member of Jeff's Killers. Oh, God, he's a fucking pedophile. Okay.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, so he's doing all this shit. He's convicted of like assaulting a minor, and then somebody nails him to a fucking wall and kills him. Here we finally get to see what the recording was. Okay, this is what was playing from his mouth. Lies are locks. They keep us out. Lies are locks. They trap us in. Lies are locks indeed. Truth. Truth is the key. The key to open the door of truth. What will we find in there? The dead beg for nothing. The living beg for relief. Relief from the hell that I have brought to Mandeville. And then this looks like it's still part of the quote, but it's not in italics anymore, so I'm not going to do the voice. No one is safe, your lies protect you for so long, but now the truth shall shine bright. Liars fill their pockets with ill-gotten gold. Liars shall be held accountable. Liars shall be forced to stand before the door of truth and confess their sins. Only then shall peace return. I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping ahead. I don't even know if Jeff the Killer's fucking in this, dude.
Does Lane ever even come back up?
I don't think so. I think it's all about the cops now.
He spent all that fucking time with him. Oh my god.
Oh shit, Lyman died.
Who?
Yeah, Simon Lyman, he's dead.
Who is that?
Okay, there's one part I gotta read. Okay. So this is the end. I think there's Jeff the Killer mimics out there. And they're killing a bunch of people who are liars. That's why it's lies or scars of corruption or whatever. So this is from a press conference. Today is a horrific day that will go down in infamy within our beloved city of Mandeville. Today we mourn the loss of Louisiana State Police investigator Lyman. Agent Lyman was tasked to assist us in the investigation of the recent attack on a local family by an assailant who wore a disguise that we believed was intended to mimic Jeff the Killer. Over the course of the investigation, evidence was discovered that led investigators to believe that at least one other individual was involved. Police were led to an abandoned home on Shortcut Road in an unincorporated... You have no idea how much shit I skipped, and this is just like... This is all that happened in
An
the book.
unincorporated...
Yeah.
What? Ben, I am so checked out at this point. I have no fucking clue.
Hang on.
What is happening?
I'm getting to the cliffhanger, okay? So the victim, Lyman, I guess, is believed to have committed suicide, shot himself in the face with a flare gun, and left a recording, mostly containing cryptic messages that we now believe were nothing more than the byproducts of his mental health issues. We are saddened... They would never say that in a press conference. We are saddened that he was not able to get the help that he needed. They would never say that anymore. Then today... Lyman, he's dead. He killed himself.
Okay.
Yeah. Him and Epstein, they killed themselves together. It was a suicide pact.
Okay, that checks out.
While reviewing further evidence, Agent Lyman was murdered by a rogue police officer.
Oh my god, it was Lane's father,
who we believe
Internal Affairs investigator,
was suffering from work-related stress. The officer, Brandon Crane, would then turn his service pistol on himself, ending his own life. At this time, we are confident that the threat is contained. The current evidence that we have available suggests that the initial... I think that's a valid question. I don't think is answered. So the current evidence that we have suggests that the initial attack was carried out by yet another individual with a history of mental illness. It is unfortunate that neither Brian Antoine, the young man who donned the face paint to try to mimic Jeffrey Woods, Trent Vickers, a youth who had a long documented fascination with morbid topics, were unable to receive the proper medical assistance they clearly needed. And now we must face the most painful of truths. That Officer Brandon Crane, a young man who'd served our community for almost 2 years, was apparently involved in this set of tragic circumstances. There will be a memorial service for Agent Lyman in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The time and date and location will be announced once preparations are complete. We, as brothers and sisters of the badge, are all deeply hurt by this loss, blah, 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 blah. That's a load of shit right there. A drunk man granted at the television What you say there? The young bartender asked. She had a sleeve tattoo. That's not important. It's not detective anymore. I'm off the force, Sherry. It's Lyman's partner, Bradshaw. He quit because he's in on the...
Who the fuck are all these people, man?
He's in on the thing.
Who cares about any of these people?
So, basically, Lyman was not killed by this dude. Dalton managed to smile. Oh, God. Fucking hell. What does Dalton want? There's so much.
Who is Dalton?
Shit. Okay. So Dalton's like, this goes so deep. Simon didn't get killed by this cop. It's a cover up. It's a big fucking cover up. Meanwhile, in Mandeville,
Okay.
a young woman sat alone in a large home surrounded by a massive gate. Jane.
Okay, is that just the Lane's mom?
No, this has nothing to do with Lane. He's gone.
He's gone. He's no longer part of the story. What
He's been
was I
gone
thinking?
from the story for what I think may actually be like 50 pages I've skipped.
God, why is this so long? The original Jeff the Killer was like 10 pages. It's so dense, Ben. It compacted all of what we needed to know.
I take back what I said. I'm not reading this on Patreon.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so surrounded by a gate, right? Jane Arkansas is her name.
No, it's not. No,
and
it's not.
She
Try again.
examined the names and faces before her. Photographs all tacked to her walls. Or to her wall. Jeffrey Woods. Lou Woods. Randy Hayden. Maxwell Hayden. Paul Dermott. And many more stared back at her. She knew there was much more to this story. She knew that the chief's press conference was a lie to hide a lie. She knew that she had work to do. It's starting again, she whispered, as she tacked photos of Simon Lyman and Dalton Bradshaw to her wall.
Who are you?
Jane Arkansas. I just
Who
told you that.
is Jane Arkansas?
She'd inherited much of her father's fortune when she turned 18. Now she was just entering her 20s, saddled with a fortune that she cared little about. She was aware that
That
most
must be
women her
nice.
age, with her current level of wealth, would be jet-setting off to Europe, taking inane selfies and consuming cheap liquor and expensive bottles. However, that's actually illegal, by the way. Watch Bar Rescue. However,
What's
Jane
illegal?
putting cheap liquor in expensive bottles.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds like it should be illegal.
Yeah,
So I agree with that law.
However, Jane K. Arkansas cared for none of those things. Her father had been murdered. Her home set ablaze. She had escaped with her life, but in the process, she'd inherited a dire mission. One which she would happily spend all of her newly acquired money to be rid of. But she knew better.
Yeah.
She knew that this was something she would not allow herself to abandon. It compelled her to move forward. Even though she was fully capable of hopping into the nearest jet and never looking back. You've made your fucking point. Jane reached up and touched... Sorry, I'm losing it a little.
Sure?
I'm losing
Are
it a little.
you sure that,
no.
that the point has been made?
I'm back in. I'm back
she
in.
She has
I'm-
the money and can just leave.
I've centered my chi. Expensive liquor in cheap bottles. I've centered my chi. Jane reached up and touched the photo of Lou Woods and Randy Hayden. As she did, she whispered to herself, "There's a lot to do now. Much to get in order. You boys are coming home very soon, after all."
Who are you talking to?
That's the end.
What? That's the end. What? What? Are you serious? There's not more after that?
No. But I can
What
tell you.
are you talking about?
But I can tell you that Jeff the Killer 3 is called Jeff the Killer: Jane.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, we should have done the Russian sleep experiment. Jesus. Well, okay. So sometimes you take a risk. You read a story you haven't read before.
Yeah,
just to
and
see
you're
what
like,
happens.
yeah, you're like, okay, surely this story about Jeff the Killer would have Jeff the Killer in it. It would be
Surely
stupid if it did not.
it's like you could write whatever the fuck you wanted, but you wrote it like you had to pay the lead actor to return.
So you had to you had to have a reason to write him out.
Yeah. Like okay, this sucks.
Glad we're in agreement, Ben.
Yeah, wow. So that was needless to say, I'm not going to be reading the next 7 Jeff the Killer books. By this guy.
I am frankly insulted that there are 7 of these. I guess 7 more, so 9 of them is what you're telling me. You're telling me there's 9 of these.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the 2 people who read it loved it.
They must be 13, just like Lane. Or 14, I guess, probably how old he is.
God.
And they're like, I love the part where Lane said society doesn't understand him, Mom. Gosh.
It was fun up till that point. Like, I was still having fun there. Oh my God, they're all on this.
No, the book should have definitely ended at, and then I kicked him in the balls and smashed his brains in.
I think you're right.
That was funny.
I think you're right. I think we could salvage this if I just cut it there, but I'm not going to.
No, don't. No, I had to sit through this, they've got to sit through that, okay?
Yeah. Okay, well that's your punishment episode for Nate's Nightmare November being good.
I'm sorry.
I think we all had fun here. I think we all learned some things about ourselves.
We learned some things about ourselves.
I think it was a journey of self-discovery. We evolved. We're not the same people we were when we started this journey. And that's what it's all about. It's about learning. It's about growing. And inside every bad experience is a lesson. And I think we all learned a lesson here today. That's what it's all about.
That was terrible, Ben.
Yeah. So
you want to rubric it.
Do you want me to?
Yes, absolutely. You need to rubric it.
Oh, Christ. Okay. All right.
All right, Ben. Content and ideas.
Hang on, let me bring up the rubric. Okay. Okay. Content and ideas. 2.
That's generous. Yeah.
Clear ideas. Well, yeah, it could be. It could be a 1. No, I think the story. There's a clear idea that's present. There's the idea seems to be that Jeff the Killer was created by this small town of corrupt rich people who all cover for each other's sins.
I do not remember that from the original.
No, this is embellished heavily. And he's trying to create like a universe here where all these people have gotten mixed up in it. There's like this buddy cop story, but it's all over the goddamn place. None of these, like, this is a case of like, I needed fewer ideas. I needed a little bit of like focus, preferably on Jeff the Killer. That's where I would have liked.
Probably on the guy this story is named after.
That's where I would have liked you to go with this one. If you're listening. And then if we'll probably just get a copyright tag. But it's a organization. 1, I think this is my first one.
Are you sure it's your first one?
I don't know how often I've given a 1 for organization.
Ernest Cline?
I don't think I did.
Oh my god.
No, because this is bad. So this is okay. The person who wrote this, it's like they watched a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
And they put all of them together. It takes the like the Gale Weathers energy from the Scream films, where like in the first Scream, a lot of the stories told by Gale's like news reports, then cut in with like the actual people, like and it bounces around. The difference is Scream is a comedy, so or it's a parody, I should say.
I was gonna say, I don't think it was a comedy.
It's dude, Fonzie gets knifed. It's hilarious.
Does he really?
No. Yeah, no. Scream is low key. It's definitely a parody, kind of a comedy. It's supposed to be a little tongue in cheek. But they took that. They took like a little bit of like the Jason stuff. They took a little bit of like the Vampire the Masquerade cults, that those murders that happened. So they're taking a little bit from like true crime documentaries, a little bit from horror movies, a little bit from here, a little bit from there, smashing it all together. And what it creates is length. So much length that doesn't need to be there, because I don't care about any of these people.
we wanted girth.
He wants it to feel like it's this plausible true crime story. Like he wants it to unfold like that, but also be a horror book with a narrative that's told from the character's perspective. But like it's all over the place and it doesn't ever come together. Use of language. It's a 2. The language is more or less competent, not competent enough for a published book, but fine by the standards of creepypasta. Personal preference. It's a 1. And I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed by that. That sucked. Okay. Recommendation strike. That's also a 1. Unfortunately, I'm going to release this for you all to listen to. So that may feel a bit disingenuous now that we're here at the end. So I'm technically forcing you to consume it, but no, I would not recommend you listen to this episode, but you already have. So, and yeah, so I think that's what, 6, 7, 13, 14, 15 out of 100.
Great.
That's a 1 star from me. It's rounded up to 1 star. With that, I'm going to thank the patrons. I'm going to thank Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcast or Podcast. I'm going to thank Spooky Shy with the Y over on TikTok. Jamie, the Gravy Man of the If You Want the Gravy movie blog. John Bierce, actual author of The Mage Errant, The Rack, and More Gods Than Stars. And would you like to shout out?
Yes, just as soon as I pull it up, because I forgot. Forgot that was a thing I was doing. Cut all that part out.
I'm going to be cutting a lot of things out.
Jacob Lansky, Ben, doing whatever the fuck he wants.
I hope he wanted to listen to this.
And unsubscribe.